left behind.
Mr. Percival was proud with Rusty, Hugh, Fred, and Bertram for repairing the line. "You four have worked hard to keep the line open," he said. "If it weren't for you, the line would have been closed forever, and there would have been nothing we could do." He then turned to Rusty. "Rusty, since you have came up with this idea, you shall get to take a test train along the new completed line." "Thank you so much, sir," said Rusty. "I would be happy to take the test train." And Rusty rolled away to go find the coach. Rusty soon arrived at Grove's Gate Station just as James arrived with the local. The inspector then walked out. He looked very smart. As soon as the inspector went inside the coach, Rusty rolled away. Rusty was making good time on the way to the Elmstead line. Rusty showed the inspector all the sights along the line. But he didn't know that two naughty boys were lurking nearby. On the way back, the inspector wanted to inspect the site, and the driver also wanted to look around. Rusty waited and waited patiently. Not long now, he thought to himself. But I'm sorry to say that unbeknownst to him, that the two naughty boys went inside his cab. As Rusty waited, he felt footsteps and his horn blowing. Must be time to go, he thought. And he rolled away. But he didn't realize that he was being hijacked. Rusty arrived back at Grove's Gate, unaware of what he thought who was driving him. As he waited, he heard footsteps, and it seemed that if someone was running. Mr. Percival then walked up. "Hello, Rusty," he said. "Where's the inspector and your driver?" Rusty was confused. He then realized something. "Bust my buffers," he said. "I must have left the inspector and my driver behind, and I probably might have been hijacked." Mr. Percival was also shocked. "Well, then we better head back and fetch them at once." "But how?" asked Rusty. "I don't have a driver." "I'll be your driver," said Mr. Percival. Rusty felt surprised about this, but agreed with Mr. Percival, so he rolled back to find his driver and the inspector. Back at the lake, the driver and the inspector were anxious of what might happen to Rusty until he finally came back. Rusty soon finally arrived and told the driver and inspector what happened. "Don't worry," said the driver. "Some things like that can happen," agreed the inspector. As the driver went inside Rusty's cab, and the inspector and Mr. Percival went inside the coach, Rusty rolled away back to Grove's Gate. I sure hope he'll try again. Do you?